This is Election Talk. Election Talk with attorney Kerry Harper on Radio Free 102.3 KJLH.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, if it's 0 dark 30 and it's psych, it's Wednesday. Yes, we are here Wednesday at KGLH 102.3 FM because we are you. And in less than 6 days, we will start to know who the next president of the United States is. OMG. Are we back to daytime drinking again? I don't know. We stopped daytime drinking when Joe Biden kind of gracefully pulled up Kamala Harris to said, go ahead, run the ball into the end zone, kid. So listen, if you're out there daytime drinking because it's very, very close, then you're not alone. We are still you. So are we. Any old-fashioned way. I gave the judicial picks yesterday. And for folks who may not have turned in, or I went too fast, I'll go through them again. And then later on, when we have Judge Kevin Ross on, we'll talk a little bit more about the judicial process and the picks because it's all about the judges. If you guys remember last week when DA George Gascon agreed to file something that would allow the Menendez brothers to get resentenced, he said at the very end, but it's up to the judge. It's always up to the judge. Bush v. Gore in 2000 was up to the judges. A lot of things behind the wings are up to the judges. So these judges matter because we just had a judge selected from the Los Angeles Superior Court into the United States District Court, Judge Peace Harnett, I believe her last name is. Black female. She was out of San Fernando. I appeared in front of her. She was very, just overly qualified to be in that position. And now she's on the bench at the federal district court level. That's 2 steps away from being at the Supreme Court. You can go, or if they just want to yank them from the district court, they can and have them be a nominee on the Supreme Court. So all these things matter. Clarence Thomas is getting older. The next president will choose one of the Supreme Court justices, if not 2, because of their age. So we have to be mindful of this stuff. I had a friend say yesterday, hey, we got to respect somebody's right to not vote or to vote. Me personally, I really don't respect your right not to vote because I think it's a civic duty like jury duty. You should vote. You are in this country. We're all in this together. And whether I agree with your political points of view, you need to make that known because people have died for your right to vote. There's blood on those ballots. People died when they showed up to vote. And then you're just going to sit it out and say, it's my right not to vote. No, I'm sorry. I just don't agree with that. I see a caller, Stephanie. I'm going to go to you in a second after I give the number for the studio. Feel free to call in for any hot topics and any candidates running for any office whatsoever. I will give you 2 to 3 minutes to say your piece and invite your opponent to call in as well. 310-520-KJLH, 310-520-5554. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you?
Yes, good morning. I'm doing great this morning. I called your office yesterday and I left a message because I would like to have a private conversation with you eventually. I have a loved one that's been incarcerated for 44 years. It's time for him to come home. He never killed anyone. They are going to let the Menendez brothers out of prison that only been doing 30 years or so, and they killed their parents. And I feel it's time for my loved one. He needs to come home. I'm taking full responsibility when he come home, and I am willing to pay to get me an attorney to help bring him home. And he's going before the board February 2025. And it's time for him to come home.
Okay, well,
He hasn't killed anyone.
and we can have a private conversation, but just generally speaking, how old was he when he did this?
He started going in and out of prison at a young age because he had no stability in his home.
No, the most recent.
Mother wasn't there, father wasn't there at the age of in his 20s.
I got
but
you.
He have done his time.
But the most recent crime, because I'm asking for a reason, because the Menendez brothers did not have a record. They weren't in and out. And I'm not advocating.
Right.
I'm not advocating. But did your loved one commit the last crime before he was 26 years old?
Well, no, he was in prison, at the age of 26 years old. Maybe he might have done some things, his behavior might have been not that great while he was in prison.
I understand. And listen, I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to tell you that you should have him, and the inmates can fill these forms out too. There are forms under George Gascon's directives that he ran on and that he put out the first day that he was elected. DA George Gascon implemented certain things where people who feel that they've been over-incarcerated, they can fill out forms and say they want to be resentenced too. This isn't limited just to them just because they got money or just because they're rich and from Beverly Hills. Go ahead and shoot your shot. Have them shoot a shot to request.
Well, he's done all of that. He's done everything that he knows that he should do, that he's supposed to do.
Okay.
And
Well,
he's still there. He needs to be found suitable, and he needs to come home. It's time.
well, it sounds.
And I'm taking full responsibility, like I said, and I need to get an attorney. He goes before the board, and we just want to bring him home.
You said he goes before the board January, February.
In January, February 2025.
Well, we have a great judicial candidate. I may not have endorsed him to be judge because I picked George A. Turner Jr. for seat 39. But there's a great candidate, Steve Napolitano, who does parole board hearings. And on the break, why don't you stay on the line and we'll give you Steve Napolitano's number. And you can pull up his interview on my YouTube page. He gave out his number over the air. He does the very hearings that you're talking about is exactly what he does. And it sounds like he's really great at it. I like them a lot. But this election is so rich with great judicial candidates, and you can only pick one. But stay on the line. Don't hang up. Do you have any other questions other than that?
Well, other than I'm going to reach out and call your office again, and I'm going to leave another message.
Okay, that's not totally what I said, but you could do that.
Right, I know.
Stay on the line.
Because I would like to have a private conversation with you.
Okay, that sounds good, too. We can do that.
Okay.
All right, Miss Stephanie, thank you so much for calling. And the number that Miss Stephanie called in on was any area code, including 310-520-KJLH, and the letters are 5554. If you did not register to vote, do not be fooled by anyone saying that the deadline is up at the end of October. It's just not so. You can still register and you can still vote. You can do it all in the same day. It will be counted as a conditional ballot. That doesn't really matter because usually 99% of the conditional ballots are still counted. So don't think that, it's over because the deadline passed. It hasn't passed. And if you don't believe me, call 1-800-345-VOTE. 1-800-345-8683. You can still vote. All hands are on deck. All votes count here. We need all votes. Okay? And if you think you have a little felony situation that you just you're nervous about your status, guess what? Show up and vote. It'll be a conditional ballot, and we'll deal with that later because chances are we will not have we won't have a decision on November 5th because it's so close. So run through the line, people. Run through the line, meaning if you ran track, you know how they said just keep running through the line. Don't look to your left, look to your right, look straight ahead and keep running through the finish line. I see Anthony from Linwood. Good morning, Anthony. In 1 minute. Okay, Anthony is still processing. So with regard to any other requirements, you can go to lavote.net. If you have any questions, you know what I found on lavote.net? If you have questions with the propositions, you go in there and you do a search and you put in the word propositions. It gives you a little question answer as to how to vote for the propositions. If you're not quite sure what proposition to vote for, it'll say, okay, are you for this? Are you for that? If you check yes, then you'll go over here, and then you keep going. If you check no, you'll go over there. And at the end, they'll say, sounds like you're for Proposition 33, or sounds like you're against Proposition 36. That's literally, and I'm not saying it was fun. I'm maybe a little bit of a geek, so I kind of found it kind of fun. But it was interesting how they made it interactive so that it's not so scary to vote on the propositions. You don't have to cover your eyes and just check a box anymore. Go on the website at lavote.net, do the little test, and at the end of each proposition, they will tell you exactly which way to go according to your answers. So I see Anthony from Linwood has questions about conviction of a friend. Good morning, Anthony. All right, we'll take Anthony after our first break because I guess there's a little technical issue. So I'm Carrie Harper. We're here at Election Talk. If you want to get in touch with me directly, the easiest thing to do is to DM me on Instagram, Harper, the number 4, Justice. It used to be something else. Harper, the number 4, Justice. I'm here at KGLH 102.3 Radio Free because we are you.
Speak loud. Speak now. It's time to get election focused with Election Talk, hosted by attorney Carrie Harper.
This is Carrie Harper, and I'm here at KGLH again for Election Talk. I'm going to be here every single Tuesday until Election Day from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. We're going to do current political events. We're going to have political power players and, of course, the judicial candidates because, as you know, it is all about the judges. So tune in 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. every Tuesday on KGLH 102.3 because we are you.
Listen to Election Talk every Tuesday at 5 a.m. through Election Tuesday. Listen with your ears with on-demand podcasts now at kjlhradio.com.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Johnson. After a 2-year search, my husband and I were determined to find the perfect contractor for our home improvement project. Our home is nearly 100 years old. It was falling apart and I was in desperate need of a complete remodel. So we decided to call Jerome's SoCal Home Improvement. Initially, we were just looking for an estimate, but what we got was so much more. Jerome's attention to detail and his crew's exceptional work was amazing. They did a complete home retrofit and a lifetime exterior coating. We are beyond satisfied. Finally, we can rest easy knowing that our house is protected from any future damage. We highly recommend Jerome's SoCal Home Improvement to anyone in need of top-notch home improvement services.
For 100% financing, call Jerome.
Call Jerome's SoCal Home Improvement and ask for me, Jerome. 844-534-7336, 844-534-7336, or log on to YouKnowMeJerome.com.
Macy's Friends and Family is going on right now, and it's the best time to shop for all the gatherings and gifting ahead. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off the latest trends, new arrivals, and the best brands like Karl Lagerfeld Paris, Steve Madden, Hotel Collection, and more. And get 15% off beauty, too. Plus, get free shipping with any $25 purchase today at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Kamali, and I go to Centinela Christian Child Development Center, located in the heart of Inglewood. I love my teachers, and the food is delicious too. Right now, we have open enrollment, and I'm looking to make new friends.
Good job, Kamari. My name is Ms. Jones, owner and operator of Centinela Christian Child Development Center. Here at CCCDC, we specialize in early education and community, ranging from 3 months to children entering kindergarten. We have proudly served over 2,000 alumni, families, and friends. We are currently enrolling for the 2024-2025 school year. We offer competitive rates, hot meals, and we accept all subsidized programming. Give us a follow on all social media outlets at Centinela Christian Child Development. Mention this ad on KJLH and receive a $25 gift card.
Come join me by calling us at 310-673-0696. This is my
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppable, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
You're listening to Election Talk with Attorney Kerry Harper on Radio Free 102.3 KJLH.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, we're back at it. It's 0 dark 30. It's actually 518. Where in the world is Judge Kevin Ross? Judge Kevin Ross, where are you? Where are you? Come out wherever you are. This is the fun stuff about live radio. You just got to roll with the punches. So we're rolling. Listen, I was talking about the judicial picks, and I wanted to get through some of the propositions as well. I know everybody's been seeing these commercials about rent control and Prop 33. I'm going to start from the bottom up, from Prop 36, and work my way back. Prop 36 is seeking to overturn Prop 47. We talked about that. Go to our podcast. I hate to refer you to go to something else, but we talked about how Governor Gascon has already put things in place to deal with the snatch and grab robbers. So Prop 36 is really, it's about criminal penalties to deal with the folks running in, all the stuff you see on the news about them yanking stuff off the aisles and running out of the store. Prop 47 is a proposition that DA George Gascon wrote, and Prop 36 seeks to overturn that proposition, but it's not necessary. The governor's already checked that box. We don't need Prop 36. Prop 47 is doing just fine. Also, when you have, here's some schooling. Whenever you see somebody saying, oh, he's light on crime, he does not control the judges or the jails people. The sheriff's department control the jails. When you have a nonviolent felony, even if it's a snatch and grab and it's taking business from these mom and pop businesses, which people in my family have, and you're angry when you see it, and yes, you get butthurt about things happening, you still can't make them stay in jail longer if the sheriff cites and releases them. Do you want the sheriff to cite and release a rapist? Which one you want? The person who's lifting some Louis Vuittons or somebody who's just raped somebody? So that's your choice. There's not enough room for nonviolent felons, period. Hard stop. So what are we going to do? I think this proposition is seeking to do a little mass incarceration. I think that's something that Nathan Hochman is kind of seeking to do. Him and his company that he created the year Gascon won, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Foundation, and you can Google that. He is the chairman of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Foundation. We know that the prosecutor's office is an arm of law enforcement, but to literally be kind of the police is kind of different. So I really would suggest you listen to both of those folks when you're voting for the DAs. George Gascon has gotten a bad rap. We saw that Caruso was smacking Mayor Bass around because he had all that money. So when you keep seeing it on TV, you keep seeing folks with money, that doesn't mean they're necessarily the best choice. And we see Mayor Karen Bass with an S on her chest. She's doing everything. I'm ready for her to make peace in the Middle East. So money doesn't mean everything. We're inundated with commercial ads from Nathan Hochman. We're inundated with people, with victims coming up saying bad things about George Gascon. He doesn't run the jails. He doesn't do police training. So if an officer got shot in the line of duty, which hits home to me because I was that officer going in back in another career. So I do take it very serious when officers get hurt. Hey, Maybe it's their training. Maybe they shouldn't have entered a doorway because we're taught that doorways equal danger. So people don't want to say it like that, but just let's have real talk. This is not this man's fault. I mean, he's being blamed for everything. Next, he's going to be blamed for the Kennedy assassination. So I say push the button for this man. He told the folks what he was going to do. He got in office. Yes, he was like a bull in a china shop. What are we going to say? The best china didn't get broken. Those knickknacks, we could replace those. But the good china didn't get broken. He stepped on some toes with the DAs there. And he was unapologetic about it. But, hey, I think he's the best choice. That's who I'm voting for. And I'm also voting no on Prop 36. So now let's get back up to Proposition 35. It deals with healthcare tax. I'm doing a yes on that. I have a question mark by Prop 34, so I'm not going to talk about that yet. I'll talk about it on Tammy Mac when I'm on there on Thursday and Friday. Let's get to Prop 33, the local rent control. I have a yes there, but it has a question mark because I went through that program that I was telling you about on lavote.net, and I answered the questions, and it actually told me I may not be for Prop 33. Now, I have a school teacher friend of mine, Stacey Harvey. Good morning. Get up. Get those kids ready. Who says, oh, of course we want rent control. I get it. But what about the mom and pops who've saved? They did their little ADU. They've tweaked it out. Or they bought that duplex. And they want to get their money's worth. Prop 33 is going to affect that. And when you look at who's for and who's against some of these propositions, with regard to Prop 33, Senator Toni Atkins down in San Diego is actually against Prop 33. And she's been hailed as the champion of affordable housing. I remember Senator Atkins when I went to law school in San Diego, and she's always thrown down for the little guy. So now Prop 33 is kind of a highly contested one. I'm going to take one for the team and vote for rent control. But part of me is feeling a little bit of a jab like, wow, that's taken away from that person who saved up, who took that equity and didn't spend it and buy a new car. They went and spent it and improved their property, or they bought a second property, and now they're going to be told how much they can charge. And that's going to affect their retirement plan. But I'm also sympathetic to the people who are looking at $2,500 to rent in LA. And that's not even a mansion. $2,500 to $3,000 to rent a 1 or 2 bedroom. We're not talking about living with an ocean view. We're just talking about basic living. So it's out of control in this town. Yes, we need to, take one for the team on that one. That's my gut feeling. So I'm going to go ahead and vote yes on that. So if you want to talk about it, I see Anthony from Linwood. Anthony, you ready to roll? Good morning, Anthony. Good morning. Anthony, you're live. All right. Looked like Anthony had a question about something and he just couldn't get it out. If you want to ask a question about anything at 310-520-KJLH, feel free to give a call. 5554 are the letters. We expected Judge Kevin Ross, Boss Ross from the TV show. You know him, to be here sitting in the seat next to me. He's not, but you are. And we are going to take a break and come back and talk some more propositions. And we're going to break KJLH 102.3 because we are you.
Radio Free 102.3 KJLH, now with exclusive podcasts that help you navigate life. Check out podcast episodes of You're Not Alone, Your Guide to Mental Wellness, hosted by Tammy Mack and the Chicago School. Also, past and present episodes of The Breakdown, plus much, much more. Radio Free with music, podcasts, and video. We are you, totally you. Go to KJLHradio.com, keyword podcasts.
I
I am sick and tired of getting the runaround from the dealer about my Lexus. I feel like I'm always being overcharged for my car repairs.
You should try Lex Service. They're a full-service repair and maintenance shop that specializes in Japanese vehicles, just like yours. Lex Service provides 5-star service at much better prices than dealerships. And they're conveniently located right here in the South Bay.
Lex Service, experts in Lexus, Toyota, Acura, Honda, Infiniti, and more.
I trust them. They have amazing Yelp reviews, and they treat you like family. Give them a call.
It sounds like you really trust them.
Yeah, I do. The reason Lex Service works for me is they've always provided honest advice about my vehicles and never treat me differently just because I'm a woman.
Call them today at 310-517-0294. Ask about their $49.99 minor maintenance service.
Contact these guys by texting the word Lexus to 313131. That's right. Text the word Lexus to 313131. If you want to call, it's 310-517-0294.
Looking for a local spot with great food and even better vibes? Visit Rusty Pot Cafe in Inglewood. Whether you're craving their signature fried chicken and waffles, the best grits in Inglewood, or their overloaded breakfast sandwich, Rusty Pot Cafe has something for everyone. Breakfast is served all day, so you can enjoy waffles, omelets, and more whenever you want. For lunch, try their famous Big Breakfast Burger or their delicious crispy fried catfish. Everything is made fresh and served just the way you like it. Rusty Pot Cafe is open Monday to Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily. You can dine in at 324 South Market Street in Inglewood or order online at rustypotcafe.com. Call 310-412-5901. 310-412-5901. That's 310-412-5901. Rusty Pot Cafe, with delicious comfort food, meets great service and good vibes.
Macy's Friends and Family is going on right now, and it's the best time to shop for all the gatherings and gifting ahead. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off the latest trends, new arrivals, and the best brands like Karl Lagerfeld Paris, Steve Madden, Hotel Collection, and more. And get 15% off beauty, too. Plus, get free shipping with any $25 purchase today at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
102.3 Radio Free KJLH wants to extend a massive thank you to the thousands who supported the Taste of Soul, making it unforgettable. Let's hear it for the incredible artists who lit up the KJLH music stage presented by Amazon Access. You all brought the heat, the heart, and the soul. We're sending so much love to our amazing partners, Amazon Access, Delete the Divide, and Chevrolet. You are the real MVPs. And to all of our sponsors, we could not have done it without you. To everyone who came out and showed love, you are the heartbeat of this community. You make events like this possible. And a big thank you to our sponsors, Bloom Ranch, Los Angeles County Office of Education, Charles Schwab Bank, AIDS Healthcare Foundation, LA County Home Visiting Programs, and Black Infant Health. Family, the 20th anniversary of Taste of Soul is coming in 2025, and it's going to be epic. We can't wait to celebrate with you. It's your station, Radio Free 102.3 KJLH.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Now is the time to double down on proven solutions for ending homelessness. Vote yes on Measure A for funding that is tied to accountability and affordable housing that gets and keeps residents housed. We need to invest in ending homelessness, not waste critical funding on creating new elected offices with no plan to cover the cost. Vote yes on Measure A and no on Measure G.
Paid for by yes on Measure A, no on Measure G. Committee for a Better Los Angeles. Supervisor Holly J. Mitchell, 1475759.
Now is the time to double down on proven solutions for ending homelessness. Vote yes on Measure A for funding that is tied to accountability and affordable housing that gets and keeps residents housed. We We need to invest in ending homelessness, not waste critical funding on creating new elected offices with no plan to cover the cost. Vote yes on Measure A and no on Measure G.
Paid for by yes on Measure A, no on Measure G. Committee for a Better Los Angeles. Supervisor Holly J. Mitchell, 1475759.
Bishop Noel Jones Leadership Summit, November the 7th through the 9th in Las Vegas. All workshops and evening services will be held at Mountaintop Faith Ministries, 2845 Lindell Road, Las Vegas, Nevada. Special guests, Dr. E. Dewey Smith, Pastor Keon Henderson, host pastor Bishop Clinton House, Prophet Lovey Elias, Prophet Passion Java. You can register today at www.ncdcpaw.org. And also our first Noel Jones Cup, November the 7th at 8 a.m. And First Lady Loretta Jones High Tea Meet and Greet, November the 7th at 11 a.m. Both events will be held at the Desert Pine Golf Course, 3415 East Bonanza Road in Las Vegas.
You're listening to Election Talk with attorney Kerry Harper on Radio Free 102.3 KJLH.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are having so much fun. I just want to take the time and thank the Lord Jesus Christ for giving us breath today. I love it. I love the crew. Bobo is pushing stuff over there. LJ is pushing stuff over there. And the seat next to me is totally and completely empty because Judge Kevin Ross is not here. But listen, we're loving life. We're loving it, love-a-dub-dubbing it. All right, let's get serious. Folks, if you haven't voted, you have up to November 5th to physically register and to physically vote. Do not let anyone tell you that you are not able to vote because you didn't register before October 21st. That was just for regular ballots. So the regular ballot deadline is up. I mean, we do things on a conditional basis all the time and it gets approved. Do you remember back in 2000 when they were looking at those hanging chads? You remember when it was Bush v. Gore? And Gore actually got more in Florida, but Gephardt convinced Gore to gracefully bow out of the race, even though he would have won if he stuck in there. You know what I'm sick of are Democrats that give up just a little bit too soon. They say, you know what? I don't like what's going on. I'm tired of the Democrats. Republicans don't do that. They say, you know what? Forget those 34 criminal charge convictions of Trump. I'm still voting for him. Forget the fact that he's going to deport any Mexican person or person of color. Forget the fact that he says Haitian folks are eating pets and are doing all this stuff, and which you should call the Ohio prosecutor's office and say they reported a false crime against J.D. Vance and Trump. They're still voting for their guy. We need to be that steadfast with our candidate. I had someone say, let's talk the top of the ticket. Let me say again, if you are voting for anyone other than a person in the two top races, which is Republican or Democrat, if you're voting for a third party candidate, you are voting for Donald Trump. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't be artistic. It's not time to be creative and touchy-feely and I want to make a point and I want to do this. No, make your point in 2028. We don't want to hear that now. We're not trying to hear it now. Okay. So you can quit texting me and talk about the top of the ticket. The top of the ticket is a check the ballot for Kamala Harris and you pressure her after she gets in office. Don't give her grief before she gets there. She's shown up to Fox News. She's shown up to Charlemagne the God. She's answered questions. What does Donald Trump do? He doesn't show up. He's 2 hours late when he does. He tries a dance on stage, which is about him doing a couple fist pumps. You know, I think Tommy Smith from the Olympics might have something to say about him trying to misappropriate the fist pump because we know in 68, it was a fist in the air to show the, respect. But listen, people, beautiful people, get her in office and have your issues with her later. Don't do that now. We all hands on deck. I see Anthony from Linwood. Anthony, good morning. How can I help you? So, Anthony keeps messing with me. This must be, is this an X or something? Okay. Come on, Anthony from Linwood. Sister Kawana from Linwood. We're going to keep talking about voting your conscience, which should be either Trump or Kamala. And Kamala is preparing to give small business owners a break. Kamala's preparing to forgive some of the student debt loans, I do believe. She's trying to fix the border, and she keeps saying Trump is running on a problem instead of fixing the problem. That means that Trump convinced a bipartisan committee not to vote on on the immigration bill, to instead wait for it to happen after the election. This happened before in our history. Don't ignore history. Carter had a crisis when Ronald Reagan ran. It was the hostage crisis in 1980. And Ronald Reagan stalled, and he got the hostages released after the election. That's what's happening now, because they don't want to fix the immigration problem now. They want to make it a problem for Kamala Harris. Don't be fooled by that. If you're angry about the immigration crisis, it's because of Trump. Blame Trump. Blame the appropriate person. Quit blaming this woman for everything. Sister Kawana from Leimert Park, early voting and propositions, you have a question about?
Yeah, good morning, sis, and I want to say thank you so much. I just want to say that I was able to do early voting. It was at the Baldwin Hills Mall. It was very easy, and I love what you said about voting for anything other than with the top of the ticket with the independent party. Your vote is going for Trump. That is so true. We cannot have this dictator in office, point blank, period. Mm-hmm. But my question is regarding the expiration of the registering to vote. Could you go over that again? Are you saying that there's still some time for some people to register?
I'm saying that you can, if you have not registered, you can go register now at a polling place near you, register now and vote at the same time. It will be considered a conditional ballot. It won't be as though you registered before the October 21st deadline, which means you had all your boxes checked off and you were early. Sometimes you're bringing up the rear. Sometimes you're running late. I have to ask for healing for running late all the time. But in this case, the only time you're running late, if you're trying to vote on November 6th instead of November 5, you can vote even on November 5 if you haven't registered. Go register and vote. It will be saved. It will be counted as a conditional ballot, which will come into play because there probably won't be a decision on Election Day, which is why we're going to have election talk on Wednesday, November 6th, because we can't go until we know. We're not leaving until we have a decision. I think the decision might actually come probably in the afternoon on November 6th, maybe during Tammy Mack's show. So you should tune in. So what did you vote for? I'm just curious. Do you want to share what you voted for, Sister Kawana?
Sister, I voted for Kamala Harris. I voted for Kamala Harris with pride. And I'm so glad you mentioned that about being able to vote at the polls, because there's so many people that are embarrassed that they did not register. So please shout that out again, that they can go ahead, if they have not registered, they can vote at the polls and use a conditional ballot. This election is way too important for us to be sitting on the sidelines. We cannot do that. We cannot have this dictator in office, point blank, period.
Say it again for the people in the back. Say it again for the people in the back.
Get up. If you have not registered, please go to the polls, get your conditional ballot, vote at the poll. There's so many local places that have signs where you can go and vote. You can do it right now. But do not let Trump get into office, please. I voted for Kamala with pride. And thank you so much, sister, for the education that you have been providing. It is so appreciative. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and I'm with you. Stay on the line, Sister Kwana. I'm with you when you say you voted with pride, because here's the thing that people don't realize. You're not going to agree with any politician. Anthony, I see you again from Linwood. I don't know if I'm going to try and go to you again because it's been 4 times, but stay on the line. You're not going to agree with the position of any politician with every single thing. You don't even agree with your mama on every single thing. The standard that this black female is being held to is the most ridiculous standard of all. They say jump, she's saying how high, and then she jumps, and then they say, no, in something, you didn't jump high enough. And Trump over there, he's kicking back. He's not even doing calisthenics. You know, he's sitting back drinking soda pop and not trying. He's not even trying. He's not even showing up. She's showing up to everything, and still it's not enough. Still we'll have educated associates that we know will say, hey, I'm just not voting for her at the top of the ticket. She didn't jump high enough for me. Well, you know what? How about you take yourself, I'm not going to get indignant, but I'm almost indignant because what more must she do? What more must she do, and what more must Trump show us? You've taken away.
And it's hurtful. It's very hurtful because every single week Trump pushes it even more to see. I mean, it's every single week it's something that's degrading. And he just sits back and he just gets a pass, and we just go along with it. And I'm not for that, and I'm sick and tired of everything being so negative. Mm-hmm. I have a grandbaby who's going to be 2 years old, and I want her to be able to have her freedom, her reproductive freedoms. I want her to be able to be whoever she wants to be, period. I have a daughter, and the way that I voted as well, I'm not only voted for myself, but I voted for my future generation to come. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And stay on the line, Sister Kwana. I'm going to take Tracy from Inglewood's call in a moment. But what I wanted to say that was in line with that, do you remember that movie with Robert Townsend? I think it was Robert Townsend, maybe not. Maybe it was Lawrence Fishburne, Red Tails, and Courtney Vance. There was a line in that movie that Courtney Vance said, there's very little margin for error. When you are black and going for something that nobody's ever done, you do not get the benefit of the doubt. You have to show up and fly right, straighten up and fly right. You don't get to make the same mistakes that other folks get to do. Definitely not what our white brothers and sisters get to do. Now, this man then made some mistakes 34 times and been convicted. And he didn't, that was it. Okay, he's prided himself on grabbing parts. And so the thing is that you can't even let a minor listen to his press conference. You have to have a X rating on Trump, on the president. That's a problem, and people have normalized it and said, hey, it's just locker room talk. Locker room talk? Are you kidding me? Tracy from Inglewood, what do you have a question about?
I have a question as to why the vote, if you vote for another candidate, which I would never do, waste my vote that way, why would it go to Trump instead of Kamala?
It would count against the Democratic Party. I don't make the rules. History decides that. History has set all the way back to Ralph Nader before I was able to vote, maybe before you were able to vote. It's shown that when you vote for a third-party candidate, it hurts the Democratic Party. Jill Stein, her candidacy kept Hillary Clinton from being a president. I don't know why it's that case, but that is just the case. So that's the answer to your question, Tracy from Inglewood. Sister Kwana, you understand why that's the case, right?
Yes, sis, I do understand. And, you know, the other thing, sis, that I was wondering, too, because I know a lot of times, like, maybe like certain Nation of Islam or some things like that, sometimes they don't necessarily vote. I don't know how about in this particular election, but I just think that what we have to do is we need to talk to our family. We need to get with those cousins that may be embarrassed that they have not registered. Get them up, get them to the polls.
Right.
There's early voting all around the city.
Right.
And they need to vote for Kamala Harris.
Right. I agree with you. Well, so when you're talking to folks in your family or in your life, what reason do you hear people saying, I'm not voting for her for? What do you...
Well, okay, so the one thing that is exhausting that I've been hearing is that Kamala was responsible for locking up so many black men. That is one thing that's been buzzing around this town forever. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of young black men are saying, I'm not voting for her, and da-da-da this and da-da-da that. And as much as we can talk this dictatorship, we can talk about Project 2025, we can talk about how police will have immunity, we can talk about all of that stuff. A lot of them are not hearing that. But not only that, I believe that, okay, you're not voting for Kamala, but they're not voting at all. And so what bothers me the most is that so many things will affect them, will affect our young brothers if this dictator gets into office. And that's the scary part. And since I don't know really what the solution is, how they can be persuaded, I don't know what that is. We only have so many black men that's, ringing a drum out there trying to put something in their ears, but I don't even know what it's going to take. Do you have any suggestions?
I don't know what to say if people are wondering about the qualifications of Donald Trump, who has no qualifications, and the qualifications of Kamala Harris. And when they say they've locked up black men, I arrested black men. I put them in jail, put the handcuffs on them, but I am currently a civil rights attorney, and I sued the police on behalf of dead black men and their families. So are you saying that would be preclusive to, because at 21, I had a different career. She had a career. Her check said that she was a prosecutor. She wasn't a public defender. Her job was to lock people up. And were there people who were wrongfully convicted? I haven't heard people, there hasn't been a class action that said, oh, well, all these people were wrongfully convicted. So yeah, you did this. I think it's a speaking point of the other side, and they've ran with it. And we know, let's talk real. In my family, I don't know about your family, I was raised apostolic. Apostolic is the man walks ahead. The man is ahead of the household. Now, let's look at what Kamala Harris, and I'm going to say it, she is not with a black man. And maybe there may be some black men that might have a problem that she's with this Caucasian man, and she's the head of the household publicly. Maybe not privately, but publicly. And do people really, on the down low, have a problem with that? Is that what your problem is? Because she's a female in charge and she's not, I don't know. I'm asking a question. It seems to me, why are you talking about her other job? I mean, what was Trump's other job? Keeping black people out of his housing projects. He refused to rent housing projects. And I wish we could play one of Stevie Wonder's songs on here. There's a song called You Might Have the Cash, but You Cannot Cash in Your Face. I Don't Want You Living in Here. And it's talking about black folks trying to get housing and being wrongfully turned away. Okay, Donald Trump did that. He wanted 5 black men to go to jail in Central Park for raping a white woman. The exonerated 5 he's never apologized to. So what do those folks have to say about that? You're going to vote for him? He wanted these black men wrongfully convicted. It's so ridiculous. So
it is ridiculous. And I'm hoping that people are hearing this. And the fact of the matter is, too, is that even that rally at Madison Square Garden, which there was information that said that the Trump campaign denounced that and all of that. However, Trump did not. And he will never, ever admit to a mistake or anything like that or have any apology or anything like that for disparaging language. He will not do that.
He's unapologetic.
He's letting us know. He's letting us know exactly how he is. He's doing that.
Yep, he's unapologetic. And that's why I don't have a problem with when Democrats are unapologetic. George Gascon is unapologetic. He's like, look, yeah, I broke some of that China. Those were knickknacks, but the good China is still in place, so I'm voting for him. And Democrats need to get a spine up, and vote for this woman, put her in office, because Trump will have you. He's not for you. He's against you. I don't know what else she needs to do. I see Jacoby from Inglewood. I see Julio from Westwood. And I'd like to go to Jacoby first. Let's talk about why black men are voting for Trump. Oh, boy. So we're keeping Sister Kawana on air. Go ahead, Mr. Jacoby. What do you have to say, sir?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
First, I just would like to say this presidential was never made for black people from the beginning. That's one. Regardless who they put in office, they're going to still keep in play things that's going to hold us as black people down, not just a black man.
Okay, let me ask you this. I'm going to let you finish, but the next Supreme Court justice is going to be nominated by either Trump or Kamala Harris. Do you think Trump, who has said he's trying to take away certain rights from black folks, and if you read Project 2025, you'll know that, do you think Kamala Harris will put someone in place to help you more, or do you think Trump is down for you, Mr. Jacoby from Inglewood, California, which Trump would never think about coming to?
I get what you're saying, but it's not going to change anything regardless if she's in office or he's in office, whoever they put in place.
And let me tell you this. Donald Trump did change something because he selected Coney Barrett, he selected Kavanaugh, he selected Gorsuch, all these folks, 3 Supreme Court justices. And you know what they changed? They changed a 50-year precedent in Roe v. Wade. The Dobbs decision made it so that if you were to get somebody pregnant and her life may be in danger, you may have a problem coming up soon. But
how long has that been in play?
50 years. That was a 50-year precedent. And all of these Supreme Court justices lied and said that they would not disturb precedent. So here's the biggest difference that I can point out to you quickly before we go to Steve Harvey is that if you have a problem with anything that Kamala Harris does, Donald Trump has shown you, and please think about our sister Maya Angelou, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. He's put 3 Supreme Court justices in place to take away a woman's right to say, I don't want your baby. I don't want you in my life for the next 18 years. I don't want all these kids. Kids are a big responsibility, and he's saying you will keep them. And that's not your right anymore. Are you okay with that?
No, I'm not okay, but it too starts at the home. And I understand what you're saying, but it's going to still start at the home regardless who you have in place. I'm saying they have an agenda, black or white. You know, that's the thing. What I'm trying to get a lot of people to understand is not that it's not going to change anything. They have something in place.
I respectfully disagree when you say it's not going to change anything. It sounds like it won't change you.
I'm 48 years old. I haven't seen nothing change for us in 48 years.
Did you see?
When you see African American woman or African American man, they always say, "Oh, it's going to affect the brown and black. It's going to affect the black. The brown does not care about the black." I see this every day.
Okay. Well, listen. Let me ask you what you do.
You're going to change the topic now.
What do you do? No. What do you do for a living, Mr. Jacoby? What do you do for a living?
I work.
No, I understand. What do you do for a living?
I have a decent. I'd rather not say because I work. I have a decent job. I'm not someone who gets up and wander the streets. I get up and work 10 to 12 hours a day.
Okay.
And I'm in tune to what's going on. One thing I can say is, at least when Mr. President Trump was in office, I had some money in my pocket.
Well, that was
I'm
because
not saying he's
let
good for
me
it.
go ahead and
I'm not saying he's
lower that just a little bit. Let me tell you that money in your pocket, he signed that. It wasn't something that he made. That was something that was coming to you anyway. And Barack Obama laid the groundwork for that. You are believing in the big snow job. He sold you a bill of goods and you're drinking the Kool-Aid. He's not responsible for putting money in your pocket. Barack Obama set those tracks in line that is going to benefit the community. Just like some of the things that our Mayor Karen Bass is doing from 2020, starting in 2026, 2028. It's going to benefit, hopefully she'll be reelected, but it'll benefit later on, and you may not see the results now. I'm going to go back to Sister Kawana. What do you have to say about Mr. Jacoby, who I hope stays on the line because you weren't cut off? Stay on the line, Mr. Jacoby.
Sis, I'm so glad that you are having this discussion. This is the thing right here, because what he's saying is what a lot of our brothers are feeling the same way. But this is the thing: if Trump gets in office, it is over. And what I'm saying is that this man is really, really going to be a dictator. Think about Project 2025. Think about all of those people that are veterans. And I mentioned this to my husband. The veteran benefits will be taken away. The thing is that police will have immunity to do whatever they want to do. President Obama already said he gave Trump the playbook during the pandemic. A lot of people did not have to die during his reign. They did not. Trump was doing every single thing against what President Obama had in place. And the thing is that we cannot allow Trump to be in office, period. Listen at all of the Republicans that have said that this man is not fit to be president. He's not fit to be president. If we allow this man to get into office, he's going to be a dictator, and it is literally over. It's not going to be the Republican Party as it was before. And the fact of the matter is, thank you so much, sis, for talking about what Donald Trump did and how Roe versus Wade, how that was overturned. That's extremely important, because every woman should have the right to make decisions for her own body.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, sis, and I hope you call back in. Again, we'll be back here on election morning when you can still vote, people. Do not think that you can't vote. Mr. Jacoby from Inglewood, I appreciate you. I hope you call back again. I didn't get to you, Julio from Westwood, and D from LA. I'm voting yes on Proposition 4, and you can get my pics on Instagram later today with all the propositions. I appreciate you all calling in so much. And feel free to go to the KGLH Open Mic app to ask any questions that you might have. If you have questions about your voting status, go to lavote.net or call 1-800-345-VOTE, 1-800-345-8683. You can always contact me or DM me at Harper, the number 4 Justice. I'm Carrie Harper. We're finishing up here at Election Talk. We appreciate you so much. Please go vote. And that ends our show today. KJLH 102.3, because we are you.
102.3 KJLH and KJLH HD, Compton, Los Angeles, Long Beach, and Inglewood. Radio Free.